What's going on, guys? Spencer here with Agriculture, Blue Milk Boys, the whole 9 yards. I am doing a video in honor of, or essentially just in preparation of the Rise of Skywalker coming out. And obviously I did one of these videos before, but I just want to do another one just to have some more content for Blue Milk Boys, try to change it up a little bit. I played a little bit like off screen, obviously. I feel like I'm a Minecrafter, do a little off world building, but just to check it out for free play later. I'm trying to do, what's it called? Golly, sorry, it's a little loud. I'm trying to go through and do True Jedi first, because otherwise you guys don't want to see me just farm for coins and stuff. I just want to go through it and just have like a fun topic for the day or whatever. And I'll talk probably a little bit about the Rise of Skywalker and whatnot. So yeah, today's topic, if you guys listen to the podcast, I wanted to talk about, I have these weird kind of dreams and stuff, night terrors. The thing with all my night terrors is, or at least for the most part, or I would say recently, is I'm not in them. My night terrors play out like movies. The people in these dreams and stuff, they're not people who I interact on a daily basis. Like, obviously when you dream, like, you can't make up new faces, or at least that's what I've heard. It could just be a myth. But they're not people who I hang out with on a regular basis or anything like that. Like, and even the faces themselves, like, aren't that important. It has no, like, connection. It's always just them as characters, or characters, I should say. Just them in the dream, like, their purpose is to just be there, basically. To, like, facilitate whatever story this is. They're usually horror, like scary, like they are night terrors. What I mean to say is I don't have dreams like this that are like pleasant or just weird. They're like always really scary, and it takes me a second to get out of my element to realize that it's like fake. In any case, I'll start off with the funny one, which I was a part of. So after the whole like Colin Kaepernick thing happened, the ad campaign with Nike and their stock dropped, and there's like a whole bunch of reasons for it, but I won't really get into it. It's just I remember that story of everyone freaking out because the stock was like tanking or whatever, and I had a night terror that I was like the head of marketing for Nike, and then I had to make a new ad by like, that morning. So I woke up at like 4 a.m. thinking that I had like 2 hours to make an entire ad campaign, and essentially like, I had forgotten. So I was freaking out, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, gosh, I wonder if I even have time. And obviously I went to the bathroom, I looked myself in the mirror, and I had to like literally like tell myself, like, dude, like, you do not work for Nike. First of all, you don't even go to school for marketing. You like don't have to make an ad campaign. Nike's fine, first of all, like even through all of this. Like, you don't have to worry on Nike's behalf. They're a very functioning company. And then I could just go back to bed. So it was really funny. Sometimes I get into the element, and usually like the common theme with all of these is that I have to like take a moment to realize that I was in a dream, because they really do feel real, even though some of them are more fake than others, realistic, or I should say. So it's not always like that, but I would say most of the time. So now we'll get into like one of the weirder ones. All right, a little bit of technical difficulties there. So yeah, the first one was essentially the scene where it's these people who live in this like really rural area. So the husband he was abusive to the wife. They lived on this farm. The laws were like almost a little backwards, I would say. Just like living in the South, more rural areas, like the cops are kind of like people's like buddies and friends and stuff. Like, it's a very small community. So the dad in the situation, he found out about it, and he was really upset. And so instead of calling the police and like getting him arrested for abuse, he locked him into this basement underneath their dining floor. while they were eating, you could hear him like he would like curse them out, say like all these like really crazy stuff. And so that was kind of the extent of the dream at that point. And then it kind of cuts to another scene where the police are there, and you see the father. He had been pretty brutally killed, and it's the FBI. They're like taking pictures of the scene, like trying to figure out what happened and all that kind of stuff. So it's with the wife, and it's kind of this awkward situation where she has to kind of tell them where to find him, but she also doesn't want to go to jail and stuff like that, because obviously she was like aiding and abetting this guy like getting kidnapped, even though he was abusive. So she has to play this fine line of saying like, why he would kill the dad, and have to help find them, or else they'll obviously be like suspicious and everything like that. So it was just this really scary thing, and then like she ended up having to go down into this basement where he was like, living. It was, I just remember that was kind of the scariest part of the dream, where she kind of poked her head down, and he had written all this. I don't really remember like the exact details, but he had written a bunch of like really scary stuff down, like on the walls. Like he was writing all over the walls, like, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm telling you, like, it's crazy. They play out like literal like scenes, because I feel the tensity of these scenes that would play out tensely in movies too. So it's very, very strange. So that was like one of the bigger ones that I remember. I had this other dream that this was, I would say, probably the most unique dream, because it wasn't, I guess, realistic at all. Like, even though that last one, it's more of like a CSI story, I guess you would say, like, versus anything. But yeah, the thing is like, this dream I had, it was like these girls were trying these spells or something, like from this book, this ancient book that they had found, like as a goof, and they ended up being real, which was really weird. But these people started hunting them, and they were trying to like take them out. But the whole thing with the dream was they weren't out to kill them. They were out to they would jump them. They would lure them out one by one and then jump them. They were punching them and stuff like that. It was crazy. It was terrifying. I was like so scared, obviously. And but they would never kill them. They would just punch them to draw blood. And like apparently that was like part of this curse that had something to do with the spell that they had. Their objective was to draw the blood from these girls, like put this curse on them for like the rest of their lives. I really, I don't even know what to make of any of these dreams. First of all, I just think they're really weird, and it's like even funnier to just say them out loud, because they're obviously ridiculous, and I don't even know where they come from. I don't even like watching horror movies. Like, I don't have any inspiration. I don't know. I would like, maybe in the comment section, maybe you guys are dream interpreters or something like that. Hopefully it's nothing bad. They're just nightmares that any other person would have, I guess. But yeah, I'm a pretty like lucid dreamer. It's crazy. And I had another one where it was these people were starting their own country, but it was a bunch of like old war veterans and stuff like that, and they were very hell bent on creating war. They wanted to keep fighting and stuff like that. I remember kind of writing that down. Like, they wanted to fight. Like, that was like whole purpose. They felt like they needed to fight for what they wanted and stuff like that. Picking out fights and looking for fights and stuff. So just really strange stuff. And a lot of this comes down to, I have pretty bad sleeping problems, so I usually take something to help me sleep at night, like NyQuil or Benadryl and stuff like that. So, I mean, I guess that would kind of induce kind of, I guess, the creative parts of your brain to kind of have these weird dreams. But yeah, I would love to hear if you guys have any other weird stories. And I do like encourage you guys to, if you do like have crazy dreams like me, to write them down, because there is somebody, I'm sure, who will be able to interpret this. Like, I am glad I write them down. And it also, I will say, like, just as another like separate thing, it does help you to talk about it, because it makes it less scary, because you realize how ridiculous. When you first wake up, you will be petrified. Like, it takes me 5 minutes to realize like what just happened. when you write it down, as soon as you wake up, you just grab your phone. You can kind of see it in front of your eyes how ridiculous and how stupid these dreams are, and it helps you calm down a little quicker and that kind of thing. And caffeine will always do that, but I'm pretty sure that's a common thing. Like if you have caffeine, your brain is hyperactive, so when you fall asleep, it's obviously gonna create some crazy stuff in your mind. So yeah, that was my little spiel on my dreams. If you guys like them, I'll let you know. Like, I feel like I should write these down just in case I want to make some sort of feature film one day or something like that, like a horror movie. So it is. Oh, there is one more actually before I go to the next topic. So this is telling you this is so crazy. So it was just like this detective, and she had been like chasing this murderer, and she like, thought that this guy, like, he got away, and she was scared that something had happened to her husband because it was interlinked, and it's this really tense thing because she got shot or whatever, not like a death-defying wound, like it was just a minor gunshot wound, but she didn't want to go to the hospital because she was super scared for her husband because she thought he might have been hurt, and it turns out that the guy in the crime was the husband the whole time. So it's this really tense scene of her racing home and the husband racing home because he doesn't want her to find out, obviously, that he had committed this crime. I don't remember what the crime was, like if he had murdered someone. I don't even know if it was like to that extent. But so yeah, I remember them chasing home, and he had gotten home first, and he was trying to get all of his clothes off because it had all this blood on it. And it's just tense. The most intense scene was this moment where she's running up. They have this, of course, they live in this big house and stuff like that. So she's running up this stairs, and she goes all the way to the basement where the husband is, where he's desperately trying to get this blood off his clothes and change clothes. And she's like running up scared, crying because she's panicking, and she finally gets up there, and the husband kind of like he's kind of cleaned himself off at that point, and he's kind of scared, and she's petrified, and it's I had the benefit obviously of not being in the scene, so I was scared because she like seemed relieved, but you, like, as the audience, or me, I guess I was the only audience, knew that it was actually he had just murdered someone. So when will she find out? Is the husband actually like a serial murderer, or did he just get caught up in the wrong type of thing, like that kind of gig? So it's super awesome. I would say I enjoyed that one the most. Like, I was obviously scared when I woke up, but I think that was the most it's like story-wise the most fleshed out of all the stories that I had. That kind of seemed not realistic, but something that you'd probably see like on TV or in some movie. Because honestly, I know these are stupid very clearly. I'm not trying to lie and say that I'm like some sort of masterclass director that's just waiting for my moment and I'm some sort of genius for movie making. But man, they make scripts for anything nowadays. V-Wars or something about vampires and stuff like that. I mean, it gets pretty crazy, honestly. And it would be funny to maybe make some sort of parody video or something like that, just to kind of see what it would look like in person, and maybe it'd be a fun project to do with some friends. So yeah, that wraps it up for my crazy dream sequences and everything like that. I don't it's fun. Dream journals are fun because it helps you kind of think, and it's kind of cool to remember these kinds of things because you just how silly they were and like how you can look back on them now and everything like that. So yeah, you guys can comment if you've ever had a dream, what it was about, and because I know I don't have, and there is a difference. Like, I don't have sleep paralysis either, at least to my knowledge. This is like a completely separate thing. I've had dreams where I've been, before I started writing them down, where I was so scared that I would have to run out of my room, sit somewhere else. Like, I got to sit in, like, it was my bedroom, I'd run downstairs and sit in my living room or something like that. So it's just one of those things. Yeah, so I know it's kind of serious, but now I wanted to talk a little bit about we're going to talk about it on the podcast too, but I guess like this is my own like little platform, and plus I'll be posting this on our geek culture. So anyone doesn't listen to the podcast, I'll just have my little time to talk about the rise of Skywalker and everything like that. I'm obviously like really excited. I think this is going to be kind of the fruition, or maybe the most eventful of the sequels. We get an introduction. Obviously, all these characters in episode 8 or 7. Yeah, episode 7. Episode 8 is a little bit more of a self-contained story, or these kind of characters are more fleshed out, and we get a little bit more of the plot. But I think this movie is going to be. I mean, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, obviously. And speaking of answers, one of the big things was who were Rey's parents, and I actually didn't even think much of it. I thought we got the answer in The Last Jedi when Kylo said they were nobodies, and I accepted that answer. I didn't realize that was still really intensely on people's minds, which is really funny. So I guess that was like a huge deal. And then like I was more interested in the Knights of Ren that were referenced, and if what the whole scoop of that was, because we got the story, but not the full story, and also they looked really cool. Obviously, who are they? Where were they recruited from? Are they actually Force sensitive, or is it just kind of like they represent what the Jedi Order could have been because Luke was trying to rebuild it all? So yeah, I did find that to be quite interesting. So we have that to worry about, and we have the whole thing of. So I don't watch any trailers. The only thing I've seen is the GIF of Rey with the flipped out like dual-sided lightsaber. I don't really know how that's going to tie into the story. I think she could flip, and I think Ben could flip too, but I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. At least not a full flip. One of them may flip. I just think when you show something like that in a trailer, you're just trying to be purposely deceitful at the end of the day. And when you show Kylo Ren as being so evil, to me, it makes me feel that obviously he's getting some sort of redemption story now. That's kind of all I had to say about that, because I don't want to talk too much about it because it'll be on our podcast, but I just didn't know if we'd have time to talk about that before the episode came out. And obviously this kind of stuff doesn't really matter like once it comes out, because you guys will obviously see that when we have our review episode on Thursday, or hopefully Fredo will be able to see it. It'll be Thursday my time, Friday Fredo's time. Well, at least have it the day of. Oh, the funny thing, when I was playing this last night, like trying to grind out and get True Jedi, obviously, I didn't know you could push the analog stick forward to go faster. I just thought you just had to move left and right, and it makes the race a whole lot easier when you like go full speed at all times, which is really funny. I was thinking about this game just kind of in general, and how much I really liked it, because, games, when they say they have replay value, they don't really mean you literally just go back. But this game, you physically have to go back and unlock if you're interested in it, obviously. But most people would be, I would imagine. And I just like how like creative they are with it. And I was just thinking, even though it's goofy and it's a kids game, obviously it's just meant to be fun, you do have to go back and you have to unlock other characters, and just to unlock certain areas. And even then, the answers aren't like overtly obvious, like kind of the puzzle aspect of it, of where things are. They're not right in front of you. Sometimes they are, but there's usually one to two that you legitimately have to stop and find, because some of these set pieces are pretty big in levels. And I find that really cool, and just a reason why this game is revered as much as it is, at least in my mind, and I would imagine in most people's too. And I'm just, honestly, I'm like super excited for, if you guys haven't seen, they are doing like a Rise of Skywalker game, which is every single episode in one game, which is even crazy to think about. And it's going to be like this open world experience and stuff like that. And I know it's goofy to even say that you want to like play it so bad, but obviously I played this growing up, and it's just a fun, goofy little game to pick up. And like, so yeah, I'm playing this on my iPad, because I tried to play it on my computer last time, and actually the new Apple update doesn't support 32-bit games anymore, which is depressing, because I can't play these old games I have. some of them are being updated, like Knights of the Old Republic, which is cool, but some of them aren't, like Lego Star Wars. And it's just the kind of game where like, during the school year I like to play because I don't have time to play like any like Star Wars games or Call of Duty's a little different because those are like quick pickup games, but I can't play any story driven games during school, and that takes up the majority of my time. And this game's just so easy to drop in and like, quick little 10-minute missions and stuff. But yeah, I just went through 3 levels. I didn't want to make this too long. I just wanted to have that little quick shout out or talk about, I should say, the Rise of Skywalker and my sleep dreams and stuff like that because I think they're really funny. You guys can comment if you guys want me to. I think I'm going to keep going with this. I like to have my little special topic of the day while I play over this and stuff. But yeah, if you guys have anything else, you can comment down. If you're watching this for Geek Culture, I do a podcast called Blue Milk Boys. You can find it on Google and Apple Podcasts. It's right up there. Which is really cool. And thanks for listening, guys. And I'll see you next time.